Hey boys and girls, welcome to On the Comic Edge, episode 5. I'm your lovable host, Edge, and I'm going to do this thing in one take. So, I just got home from work. I'm about 20-something hours away from hopping a plane to Iceland to Eve Fan Fest, and I needed to get one more show out just before I took off, and this is my last chance. So, I read a bunch of comics, but that didn't really. A lot of the comics this week, this cycle didn't really catch me. What did? I finally got around to using a chapter's gift certificate and got myself Scott Pilgrim. Great box set. You should go out and, if you haven't, look for the box set. This is some great box art. I'm an old anime fan, so box art counts for a lot for me. Contains all 6 volumes and comes with a nice poster as well. So what is Scott Pilgrim? Well, a lot of you probably know it from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is the movie, which is actually Scott Pilgrim versus the World is actually the title of the second volume. So what is Scott Pilgrim if you haven't watched the movie? Basically you should go see the movie. It's really good. It's basically this huge homage to adolescent geek video gamey culture. It's really good. Basically it's about a kid getting on with his life, really not knowing how to go about it. He meets this girl named Ramona, falls madly in love with her. Drama and hilarity ensue. A bunch of over-the-top fights occur. The whole thing takes place in Toronto, which is great. I love it. The movie was great. I'll watch it again and again and again. Not really get anything more out of it, but it's a great, fun thing to watch. The books, there's a lot more, obviously. The story takes a different path. It's not the same thing as the movie. I would say it's better. Oh my god, the book is better than the movie? Always the book is better than the movie. Trust me. Even the book to Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, the book was better than the movie. Believe it or not. Believe it, there was a book. Anyway, so it's a little bit more heavy, especially near the end. I really don't want to give that much away, but it's not all I'm just going to defeat you and everything's okay. It's, things don't go right with a lot of different characters, and it's not just Scott. It's, everybody around him sort of doesn't really know what to do with their lives. Knives Chow, Stephen Stills, even Ramona. Ramona as a character in the book is a lot more layered than who you're going to find in the movie. Now, the movie, again, absolutely phenomenal. But what you'll find in the books is just a better story, a better read, much better. There's less, the density of video game topics is much less. It's not because it is sort of obviously it's a bigger story, so the same amount of jokes would seem to take up less room, but I think there's actually less references to the culture, and that's fine. It really didn't take anything away from the story, because, and you know what, reading this, it strikes chords. It'll strike chords for you if you remember that time in your life, that time just after adolescence but before adulthood, that odd gray area where you really don't know who you're supposed to be, and if you led a very tumultuous high school life, and you sort of fell flat on your face after that, and you're just like, I want to get something done, and blah. Well, a lot of people went through that, and this is what this book is about. It's about that time in your life, and it takes a really good look at it, and it's very honest. Brian Lee O'Malley, who obviously did the writing, who did the art, Let's talk about the art. Actually, it gets better, noticeably better. It is better in volume 6 than it is in volume 1. Is it the same art? Are there huge differences? No, but he does seem to become a lot more comfortable with drawing these characters and dynamic panels, really putting a lot more into these characters as far as emotion in later volumes. Anyway, I'm rambling. You should absolutely pick this up. This is going to be this is a trade showcase. Whoops. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Actually, hold on. Let's go through these. It's Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Scott Pilgrim and the Infinite Sadness. Scott Pilgrim Gets It Together. Scott Pilgrim versus the Universe. And Scott Pilgrim's Finest Hour. Now, it's really, really good. I'm sorry about the glare. It's really good art. There's a lot of dynamic expression, and that's a very action-packed scene right there. But it doesn't always stay that way. Sometimes it's just there's a fair bit of dialogue. It doesn't crowd. The characters are interesting. You remember who they are. You actually start to care about some of them. I actually cared a bit more about Ramona. That's the odd thing. I wanted her to figure herself out. Scott's going to, something's going to happen and Scott's going to be okay. But Ramona seemed like she was in a lot more pain than Scott, and I really enjoyed how that whole thing resolved itself. Not just those two, but everybody around them. And there were a lot of things that weren't in the movie that probably didn't have much of a place in it, but really great story elements. Hang on. I just noticed this. Joss Whedon. Scott Pilgrim is the best book ever. It is the chronicle of our time with Kung Fu. So yeah, perfect. I'm not making that up. There you go. Boom. Joss Whedon. It was a New York Times bestseller. I'm rambling. I'm still rambling. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim, go pick it up. And I'm off to Iceland. Stay geeky.